What's going on, everybody? My name is Alana, and in the spirit of Miss Lena Dunham, who we all know is a native Brooklynite, I thought it would be dope to pay some homage to the borough that bred her and tell you all a little story about my recent move to good old Kings County. So, I recently transplanted from Bergen County, New Jersey. You know, the place where the real housewives of New Jersey are from and where teenagers get Beamers and Benzes on their 17th birthdays. Yeah, from there to good old Bushwick in Brooklyn with my former heroin addict of a roommate. So my Dukes still lives out in Bergen County, and she's like a fuck ton cooler than my current roommate. She actually cooks, she cleans, she buys me things, so I tend to go visit her often. And every time I do, one of our gazillion elderly, on the cusp of dying old lady neighbors always asks me, "Oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. Where have you been?" And I'm like, "Oh, I actually moved to Brooklyn recently." And they'll be like, "Oh my God, Brooklyn, what part?" Yeah, there are a lot of yentas in that building. And I'll be like, "Bushwick." And every time I say Bushwick, they all literally make a face as if they just soiled their Depends. And then to add insult to injury, they always have to repeat it back to me just to make sure that, their dementia's not kicking in. And then they'll say, "Oh, well, back in my day, you wouldn't want to live there. It must be all gentrified and stuff now, right?" I'm just thinking, like, yeah, you old bag. There's some white folk up in here now because let's be honest, gentrification is just the new age white flight. And the entire time in my head, I'm just thinking to myself, like, yo, this lady has some nerve. Can't she see that I'm a fucking thug? Don't play me, old lady, because my thugometer can go from 0 to 100 grandma real quick, and don't make me have to show you. Aside from my new thug status, one of my favorite things about living in Bushwick has to be the middle-aged men that hit on you. Now, as a feminist, and I don't just say that as an excuse to be a slut, because truthfully, I ran out of those a long time ago, but I generally do not like to be objectified. But goddamn, there must be something in this Brooklyn air that just gets everybody's creative juices pumping because I have heard some of the best lines yet. I was coming down the stairs of the J train, and this raggedy ass, crusty ass, 40-something-year-old dude flashes me his grill that looks like it barely survived the jab from Mayweather and almost sings to me while doing a cross between the stanky leg and the dirty wine. "You go, girl. You know it's your world." And I was like the most flattered I have been my entire life. I immediately called up my Dukes and I was like, "Ma, I'm home." Another time as I was entering the subway, another middle-aged man comes up to me and is like, "Girl, I'd get 2 jobs today if you married me." And I was like, I wish I could just call up Obama and let him know that I found the solution to the unemployment crisis. Buy unemployed dudes pretty mail-ordered brides. If we're going to put our tax dollars towards anything, it should be that. If it's going to get them back in the labor force and off their lazy asses, right? I'm just saying. Felt like a politician for a second out there. So I mentioned the J train earlier. Now, even if you have never been on this train in your entire life, you know that the MTA gives no fucks about the J train. So let's just say that the MTA is a crack addict who had a litter of healthy babies. But the J train is the only one that came out with all the birth defects. Anybody know why they even decided to call it the J train? Is it because it's always fucked up and elevated? So you'll be waiting at a platform of a stop that only the J train stops at. And you'll take a peek down to see it coming, right? But instead of a J on the top of the first car, you see a zero. A zero. Really? A zero? You're telling me I'm riding the loser's train? And then in the windows, none of the signs telling you the origin or the destination of the train match. You'll have a K in one window saying that it's going to the Bronx, or an X in another window saying that it's going to hell, aka Staten Island. And it's like, no wonder this train's always fucked up. It's battling a constant identity crisis. I don't know about you, but I've experienced one of those in my day. It's kind of hard not to when you're Puerto Rican, black, and white. You don't know who the fuck you are. But the point is, it doesn't know what it is or where it's going. But it's all good, because in life, a lot of times, neither do we. I guess we're all just a bunch of fucking J trains.